Did you know that ancient Egyptians were a highly advanced civilization for their time, with their monumental architecture, complex social structure, and sophisticated understanding of mathematics, science, and the human body? Throughout history, many people have been fascinated by this enigmatic culture and its many achievements. From the construction of the pyramids to the discovery of King Tut's tomb, there are plenty of famous facts about ancient Egypt that most people already know. But what about the lesser-known facts? In today's video, we will explore some of the lesser-known but equally fascinating facts about ancient Egypt that might surprise you. So sit back and prepare to be amazed as we delve into the secrets of one of the world's most enigmatic civilizations. Ancient Egypt was a major technological hub of its time and had an impact on the development of science and technology, not only in Africa but also in the entire Mediterranean region. Today, we take certain technologies and innovations for granted, because they are so commonplace that we do not stop to think about how they came to be. However, it's important to remember that many of these things were once novel inventions that were created by someone at some point in history. The same is true of many technologies used in ancient Egypt. For example, the Egyptians kept detailed records of their astronomical observations, which allowed them to develop a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. This knowledge was used not only to predict the annual flooding of the Nile River, but also to guide their religious practices and burial rituals. They also made significant advancements in mathematics, geometry, and engineering, which they applied to their construction projects such as the pyramids and temples. Additionally, the ancient Egyptians developed a system of medicine that was based on observation and experience rather than superstition or religious dogma. They were skilled surgeons who performed complex operations such as the removal of tumors and the treatment of fractures. They also developed a number of herbal remedies that were used to treat a variety of ailments. The ancient Egyptians' contributions to science and technology were truly remarkable and had a lasting impact on the development of human civilization. It is important that we take the time to learn about and appreciate these contributions, as they serve as a reminder of the big ingenuity and innovation of the human spirit. The ancient Egyptians were one of the wealthiest civilizations in the world for their time. They had access to vast natural resources and controlled important trade routes, which brought in large amounts of wealth to the kingdom. Their economy was based on agriculture, which flourished thanks to the annual flooding of the Nile River. The fertile land along the riverbanks produced crops such as wheat, barley, and flax, which sustained the population and provided a surplus for trade. The ancient Egyptians also kept livestock, including cows, sheep, goats, and pigs, which provided them with meat, milk, and other products such as leather. In addition, they engaged in trade with other civilizations, exchanging their agricultural surplus and other goods such as gold and ivory for items like wine, textiles, and spices. The ancient Egyptians' wealth was also evident in their art and architecture. They built massive structures such as the pyramids and temples, which required a huge workforce and a significant investment of resources. Their art was highly detailed and often depicted scenes of great wealth and luxury. Overall, the ancient Egyptians' wealth allowed them to support a complex society with a large population and to engage in extensive trade and cultural exchange with other civilizations. It is truly amazing to think about the extent of their wealth and the role it played in shaping their civilization. Egyptian kings were not just considered rulers, but were also believed to be divine beings. They were seen as intermediaries between the gods and the people, and were expected to maintain Mahat, which was a concept that encompassed truth, justice, and order. The pharaohs were responsible for maintaining the balance of the cosmos and ensuring that everything functioned properly. This belief in the pharaoh's divinity gave them immense power and authority, and allowed them to build enormous structures like the pyramids and temples. But when they died, they were mummified and buried with great riches. It was believed that the pharaoh's soul would continue to live on after death, and would need these possessions in the afterlife. Over time, this belief in the pharaoh's divinity led to the emergence of a powerful ruling class that controlled the vast wealth and resources of the kingdom. The pharaohs and their families lived in great palaces and enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, while the common people struggled to survive. Eventually, this disparity in wealth and power led to the decline of ancient Egyptian civilization, as the resources of the kingdom were drained and the people became impoverished. The once mighty pharaohs lost their power, and their empire fell into chaos and decline. The story of ancient Egypt is a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of balance and moderation in society. The ancient Egyptians kept domesticated animals, including dogs, cats, geese, and baboons. However, there is evidence that they also kept crocodiles as pets. It may seem unusual today, but keeping crocodiles as pets was a common practice in ancient Egypt. The Egyptians kept them for various purposes, including hunting, guarding, and even as a symbol of wealth and power. There are several pieces of evidence that suggest that crocodiles were kept as pets in ancient Egypt. For example, there are numerous pieces of artwork that depict crocodiles being led on leashes and even riding in chariots. Additionally, there are accounts of crocodile wrestling matches that took place in the Nile River. These matches were not to the death, but rather a form of entertainment for the Egyptians. In fact, there is even a story about a pharaoh named Ptolemy II, who kept a pet crocodile named Speck. The crocodile was so beloved by the pharaoh that he even built a special palace for it near the royal residence. Although crocodiles can be dangerous predators, the ancient Egyptians believed that they could be tamed and made into loyal companions. They kept them in enclosures near their homes and used them to protect their property and livestock. Crocodiles were also kept as hunting companions, as they could help to capture other animals for food. In some cases, crocodiles were even used as a form of currency. The Egyptians believed that crocodiles represented fertility and abundance, and they were often given as gifts to newlyweds to symbolize the hope for a prosperous future. While it may seem strange to us today, keeping crocodiles as pets was a common practice in ancient Egypt. The Egyptians believed that crocodiles were not only fascinating creatures, but also had practical uses that made them valuable additions to their society. The ancient Egyptians kept accurate records of their astronomical observations over many centuries, which helped them to develop a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. They were able to predict the annual flooding of the Nile River with great accuracy, which was essential for the agricultural societies that lined its banks. The Egyptians also kept track of the cycles of the moon and the planets, which they believed were gods. They used this knowledge to develop a calendar that was remarkably accurate for its time. The Egyptian calendar consisted of 365 days divided into 12 months, each month containing 30 days. They also had a leap year system to account for the extra day in February. The Egyptians' understanding of astronomy also led to the construction of massive structures such as the pyramids and temples, which were aligned with the cardinal directions and the stars. They believed that these structures would help to maintain the balance of the cosmos and ensure that the world remained in order. The Egyptians' interest in astronomy did not end with the pharaohs. Many ordinary people were also fascinated by the stars and kept their own records of astronomical events. These amateur astronomers made significant contributions to the overall body of knowledge about the universe. The ancient Egyptians' fascination with astronomy had a profound impact on their culture and society. Their understanding of the cosmos led to the development of a sophisticated calendar, the construction of monumental structures, and a deeper appreciation for the mysteries of the universe. It is truly amazing to think about the contributions that the Egyptians made to our understanding of astronomy and the lasting legacy that they left behind. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaoh was a divine ruler who was chosen by the gods to lead his people. They believed that the pharaoh had the responsibility to maintain Ma'at, which was a concept that encompassed truth, justice, and order. The pharaoh was seen as an intermediary between the gods and the people and was expected to maintain harmony between the two. However, the pharaoh's absolute power and authority led to a situation where they were rarely, if ever, held accountable for their actions. They were seen as untouchable and above the law, which allowed them to abuse their power and exploit their people. This lack of accountability also led to a situation where the pharaohs were often involved in power struggles and succession crises. As the pharaoh's power grew, so did the wealth and power of the ruling class. They lived in great palaces and enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, while the common people struggled to survive. The wealth and power of the pharaohs and the ruling class ultimately contributed to the decline of ancient Egyptian civilization, as the resources of the kingdom were drained and the people became impoverished. The once mighty pharaohs lost their power, and their empire fell into chaos and decline. The story of ancient Egypt is a reminder of the dangers of absolute power and the importance of accountability and balance in society. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe Coco Online TV for more videos.